How you doing today, folks? And welcome to Red Wolf EDC. Now, recently I've been trying to downsize my collection, right? And I'm really trying to get it down to, let's say, 10, 15, 20 knives tops. And getting from numbers like 1 through 10 was extraordinarily easy. Beyond that, it's a bit of a journey, it's a bit of a headache, a bit of a pain in the ass. But I want to share with you one of those knives that was immediately in my top 10. So if you are curious if this knife is good, if this is a freaking clickbait ass thumbnail, and it's actually a terrible knife, spoiler alert, it's one of my favorite knives I've ever handled, and it's really not that close. It is in one of my top 10 of all times. It is in my top 5 of all times, and it is my favorite flipper ever. And this is coming from a guy that freaking hates flippers. So if I like it, you know it's good. This is the Freeman 451 full titanium Magna Cut Don't Tread on Me variant 451 button lock. Good action. I will say it is not the best, but what is the best is that sweet button drop. It is still really, really good though. Now, if you want like a sheer Goroff level of flippers, this isn't it. It does go solidly. I have never been able to fail this. As I say that, I'm probably going to fail on camera somehow. But I've never been able to fail this. It feels incredible to deploy, incredible to drop back down. I love the acoustics. If you can actually hear this. I love it. I am not a fidget guy, y'all. I'm just really, really not. But this is one of those knives that I find myself just going la-di-da-di-da-da-da and going about my day. On top of that, if I don't want to use the flipper tab, I don't have to, because this is one of those few knives that you're able to utilize multiple opening mechanisms, and they both feel really good. Because most flippers that have like a thumb stud or a thumb hole or a notch or whatever, they don't feel the best to open with the thumb or the flipper. It's very hard to balance both. But this one slow rolls out with absolutely zero resistance. This is smoother than a Sebenza, than a Medford, than any smooth knife you could think of, right? Because there's no resistance. It's just literally perfect. Like today's EDC is the Medford full-size Marauder H, full-size being the Marauder H variant, but full-size as far as specs. And this feels ridiculous to open. It feels incredible. It's very hydraulic. It's very, very smooth. But the Freeman, for example, feels like nothing. When you're actually flipping it out, you know, it feels like a flipper. Let's be honest here. But when you're actually slow rolling it, there is no resistance there. Absolutely nothing. It just feels like air. As far as I'm aware, that's unique to this knife, because even like access locks and compression locks and all these different versions that also utilize either a button or a crossbar, whatever the case may be, they don't quite feel like that. Now, you can also middle finger flick it. I'm actually very surprised I got that, because I was about to say, I suck at doing this. But I have seen it done many, many times with complete accuracy and consistency. Yeah, 2 for 1. All right, I'm not going for 3, because I'm going to fuck it up. But so in terms of a button lock flipper, right, which is a whole subcategory, this to me is the best in the business by a mile. I love it. I've owned one in aluminum, which has the exact same action. It's not quite as heavy or as substantial, doesn't look quite as good, because this is a great looking knife, in my humble opinion. Has a lot of branding on it, which we'll talk about in a moment, but overall, very, very pretty freaking knife. So it has this amazing action of any button lock flipper I've ever handled. But it also has this amazing slow roll, fast roll. I don't think you can flick it out. Okay, yes you can. I've never tried that before. Oh God. Okay, 3 for 3. I was nervous there, y'all. So action-wise, it feels incredible. Centering is dead nuts. No blade play, no wiggle, no up and down, no side to side, no nothing. Rock solid. As far as the aesthetics go, this is either going to appeal to you or it's not, but I just think this looks so cool. I love the Don't Tread on Me snake. You know, RIP to the DTOM Knives and Gear channel, my fellow Kyle. I don't know what happened to you, man, or where you went, but wherever you're at, I love you, brother. Hope you're doing well. But I love how this is lasered in to where you get this like nice kind of matte titanium, and this is like almost polished and feels really, really good. Nice texture feel to it. Then you have the actual bar pattern right there, which is also nicely polished, but feels really, really good. No hot spots, no absolutely nothing. That is carried over to the clip side, except for the snake's only on one side for obvious reasons. So you just get a really, really pretty thing. And the clip is also kind of polished. The hardware is matching the actual matte titanium, but it's just a little bit brighter. So you have a nice little bit of contrast to where it kind of tapers back into these two polished pieces right here, or three right here. It's just sexy. As far as the actual blade, that is a lot of branding. For me personally, I'm a nerd and I love Half-Life. So for me, this is the Gordon Freeman knife. And that's the only reason why this gigantic freaking logo doesn't bother me. On the other hand, this gigantic Magna Cut irks the shit out of me. Like, be like Medford, put an M there, or like a small Magna Cut. You want to billboard your freaking name on a knife? That's okay, I guess. But why you got to billboard the steel too? Like, it takes up almost the entire blade. Can't even talk. It takes up almost the entire blade. Also on the blade, you have these basically ruffles with ridges. That's kind of what this reminds me of. My aluminum version, right? I've had 2 or 3 of those over the years. I used the hell out of that knife and sharpened it to about midway up these actual little ruffle pattern things. So it does not impact the edge, even though you would think it would, but I didn't really have any issues. You might, but for me, it was fine. So that's another one of those weird aesthetics that you're either going to love or hate, and there's not really much of a middle ground. For me, there's nothing else like the way this knife looks. So I love it. Your mileage might vary considerably, though. Damn bag. As far as the button has this perfect amount of texturing. If it wants to focus, try this right now. So you can see this perfect amount of texturing, right? It's a nice little pattern. It kind of falls back into line with this thing, but it feels really, really good. So there is enough traction to where you're never going to slip off. I've held this knife barehanded. I've held it with gloves on. I've held it with freaking goddamn welding gloves on. My welding gloves are huge, and I can open it. Kind of, it feels janky in the welding gloves, but to be fair, they're like this goddamn thick, so what do you expect? But being able to like drop it down, just press the button, goes fine. I love it. That complete, smooth experience. Now press the button, hold it up, lean it down a little bit, and it just drops. It feels amazing. I love the acoustics. I love the way it looks. As far as the edge, as you guys know, I use my stuff, and there is a lot of stuff going on right now about Freeman's heat treat because it is technically a lower heat treat for Magna Cuts. But I've used this pretty hard. It still cuts completely fine. It's still very, very sharp. Is it a laser beam? Not really, but I don't care. Frankly, I open boxes. I don't really cut open envelopes and everything else, so I want it to be able to actually properly work with. And this edge, it works really, really well. And I've also been using this for a while now, and it's not as sharp as it originally was by any means, right? And I have not sharpened this yet, which is why this is not a hard use review, just a regular ass review. Eventually, though, a hard use one will be coming because I'm gonna dole this bitch out. I'm gonna beat it the fuck up, and we're gonna see what happens. But as far as just a regular ass review goes, I've used this knife considerably, and I'm also at least the second owner. I think I'm the third, and they use that knife as well, or this knife as well, and it's still holding up just fine. And Magnum Cut, with its corrosion resistance, right? I'm a sweaty bastard. I live in the South. It's hot. It's humid down here. And I'm a pretty active person in general. I'm always out there trying to do stuff or whatever. And I also hurt myself pretty bad recently. So I walk with a cane now. So I'm just like angry, just fucking tapping, which I swear makes me like sweat more. No rust, no issues, no nothing. Now, as far as the fit and finish goes, first off, this bothers the shit out of me. That is the clip. So if you hold the actual thing down, oh, nope, never mind, that's the button. That irritates me. It makes it feel cheap. It's not cheap by any means, but that noise irks me. You can't hear it when it's deployed. Oh, maybe you can. I heard that a second ago. It's okay, kind of. But that's the button rattling around in there. Not ideal. It's totally a nitpick, right? But it's definitely a thing. As far as the ergonomics go, this one big knife, I have size 2XL hands. I got a little bit sticking off the edge, which means I can go down, I can go up, and I got room, or I can be in the middle, which cuts my amount down to almost nothing, but I'm just comfortable now. I got big ass hands, folks. The Medford Marauder H is a huge knife to most people. It's a regular sized knife to me. Like, it doesn't look abnormal at all. This is a big knife. So ergonomically wise, for my size 2XL hands, it's perfect. The jimping right is nice and chamfered. It locks your finger in while not being in a hot spot. It transitions onto the actual blade, which has a slight little lip. Now the Benchmade Ergonomics also has like a raised little piece there, but for me, it's too aggressive. It goes up too high, too fast, so my fingers feel constrained. This is so subtle that you can put on the actual tip of it right there and just set your finger down, and it just feels great. Ergonomically, this is one of my favorite knives of all time. Normally, I don't like jimping down here. I want the handle to be just almost plain, right? But the jimping here is just done so ridiculously well. Edge geometry wise, as I already showed you, it cuts. It isn't amazing, but it's very, very good. That's really all I care about. Action, I spoke about heavily. This feels amazing. In pocket, this clip feels amazing. The actual knife itself feels amazing. There's no sliding. There's nothing that's going to fall out. If you want a deep carry, concealed, ninja-looking knife or whatever, you're going to have that much hanging out of your pocket at all points in time. So this might be a deal breaker for you. Personally, I could care less. I love it. So as far as my overall semi-long term, right, with the brand, because I've owned 5, 6 of these, several aluminum, several titanium. This one in Magnum Cut is probably never going to be sold. I love it. This to me is the perfect 451 Freeman button lock. But I've owned a lot of these knives over the years, so let's call it a long-term review. Not a hard use for this one, but a genuine long-term review. It's a 10. I was thinking about it. Is there anything that actually bothers me enough to take away the score? And no, it doesn't. I've given out quite a few 10s recently, and that is because I'm going through my whole collection of hundreds and hundreds of knives, and I'm finding those that I just cannot live without. This is the real life version, right, of like your house burned down. You can only take 10 knives or 20 knives. What do you choose? My house is just fine. but I'm picking my 10, 20 knives out. I'm actually having a great time with it. And the rest of those will indeed be sold because I love knives. I always will, but those don't bring me the joy that these do. And there's probably like 30 or 40 grand minimum in those boxes, not including customs. Those customs are normally, I think the highest one is like 7 grand right now. And then freaking most of the others are between 800 and like 3,000. So not counting those, there's like 30 grand worth of knives in the boxes. Counting those, probably another $20,000. So I could keep all of that and be a hoarder, or I could sell all of that and find stuff that I really and truly love and use and care about and be like, hey, this thing is awesome. Let's beat it up. Fuck it. It can take it. Let's have fun. And to me, that's where the real fucking joy of the hobby is. Also, wasn't trying to, but that shit landed perfectly on the little like fucking slide carpet I have out there. Hey, Otis, no. Apparently that dog also likes knives. Hey, come here, buddy. Come here. You're not in trouble. Come here. Come on. Come on, camera. Come on. This is my boy. This is Otis. You're okay, buddy. And apparently he likes to eat blades. Because if he tried to shove the button lock into his mouth, that'd have been all bad. Anyways, y'all, as always, I love you. If you're on the fence about this knife, don't be. It is amazing. It is great. It is one of the best knives I've ever handled before in my whole fucking life. It is in my forever collection. It'll probably be in your forever collection as well. If you like button lock flippers, if you like bigger knives, if you like God damn it. Sir, you eat cat shit sometimes. That's disgusting. Ew. Our tongues touched. Ugh. Love you, buddy. That was disgusting, though. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, folks, as always, I love you all. Please take care, and bye-bye.